Hello, John.
Hello, Ivor.
Today we're going to talk about climate change versus sewage. You're going to talk about the climate and I'm going to talk about the sewage. The debate on climate change is very much focused on the sky and the atmosphere. It's a difficult debate to win on both sides because of the lack of measurable evidence. On the other hand, sewage and its lack of treatment is something that we can readily see, and its impact on the rivers and oceans of Ireland. We all see what we throw into our sinks and our toilets every day. You only have to look at the river Liffey in Dublin, which is a very, very clean river until it reaches Dublin city and the sewage is poured into it. We can also visit our beaches and see what floats on the water. So my point is, should we be focusing more on the water system rather than the idea of the ongoing debate about climate change, which is going absolutely nowhere?
Correct. We'll just deal with the sewage first, because about the climate change, I was at a conference and Christopher Monkton,
Lord Christopher Monkton.
Yeah, he's a third Viscount, but he's a Catholic, and he was at a conference that I was at in Limerick there in November, and he spoke on climate change and called it climate genocide, and he used plenty of evidence to demonstrate the stupidity of the agenda of climate change, which is focused by the elite in the Green Party and other people to their own gain in some way, and imposing charges on countries, etc. Ireland and Malta, the two least industrialised countries in the world, are going to be charged 13 million by the EU because they haven't reached targets. Now, what targets this country has to reach is a mystery, because there's no factories belching smoke like in other countries, very little, and all that I know is there's cows in fields, and they sort of say something about them, like as if, which is nonsense. So Lord Monkton, or Christopher Monkton as he prefers to be known, has said that. That's about climate change. So, but we do know about this refuse that you just spoke about there. I'll give a few examples. When you visit any scenic place in this country, wherever it is, there's no litter bins. There's a sign saying, "Bring your rubbish home." It must be the most asinine and ridiculous thing for any civilised country to ask people to do. This tells me that we're living in a country that has laws and rules that doesn't make sense in any shape or form. In other countries abroad, in France and Germany, and France and Italy and Spain and these places, there's none of that sort of stuff. There's litter bins everywhere. The beaches are as clean as whistles. The rubbish is collected in separate wheelie bins, big wheelie bins and what have you, where people bring their rubbish, and they don't have big lorries calling to their house and all the rest of it, and God knows what they're at, this private business that they have here, this whatever it is that they like to call it. It's most inefficient. Now, the councils are often dictating about bringing your rubbish home. I'm not surprised, because they don't distribute the rubbish that they are supposed to distribute properly. I mean, it should be a crime. They should be charged with negligence for putting sewage into the river system and the lake system.
I just want to give a few figures there, John, okay?
Yeah.
The equivalent of 20,000 wheelie bins of raw sewage is released daily into Cork Lower Harbour, okay? There's 38 locations, it says here. Discharges of raw sewage from 6 urban areas ceased in 2017. Raw sewage from the equivalent of 88,000 people is still flowing in 38 towns and villages. It's right in untreated sewage into the rivers and the oceans.
That's diabolical. That's criminal.
Yeah.
They should have by now that we've celebrated over 100 years of freedom. It's long overdue that they had facilities for treating sewage, which can be turned into fuel.
That's right.
So this business of disposing of what could be assets and causing pollution in the rivers and in the seas, because people have seen the rubbish sewage floating in Doldrum Bay and a lot of the beaches. You're not expected to allowed to be swimming where you want to swim in the summertime, which I've always done. So it's got worse. And to think that, for example, the Loch Shield, which is near where I live myself, and which featured on that programme that Sergeant McCabe, the man who was vilified by the state and tried to be destroyed but succeeded, thanks be to goodness. His father, the Loch Shield was a great fishing river, and suddenly a pig entity with a lot of pigs, they slowly started going in and killing all the fish, and he was persecuted with the crowd that was doing that, ringing him up at 3 o'clock in the morning, all the rest of it. So the people that's permitting sewage, be they private or be they public, they should be charged with negligence and made to rectify that problem. There should be no such thing as raw sewage of any kind going into rivers and the sea.
I just want to say that Ireland is before the EU Court of Justice on the matter, because it has failed to meet.
Before that, that's what they should be fined for, and they should also be fined for not providing bins in places where bins should be provided, so as people doesn't have to throw rubbish in the highways and byways, which they're doing, and sometimes you can't blame them. It doesn't matter what people say.
I'm going to list on this video in the description section on YouTube, I will list the 38 locations. One of them surprised me, it's actually Howth.
Well, that surprises me.
That surprises me as
Because
well.
Howth is a fishing village.
Yeah.
And I remember when I lived there, there was the blessing of the boats every summer, and oftentimes then you got to tipping the boat out, and I used to love going out in those fishing boats, and I used to have me wondering what horsepower she got. It's always interested in the horsepower, because the bigger the boat, the higher the horsepower, and she could plough through the water. I'd love to see a boat plough through the water, so I have happy memories of the boats being blessed in Howth. I don't know if that is still continued, but it was in my time, and Howth was a fishing village, and there was no such thing as pollution that I remember.
Well, see, of course, now you have lots of housing estates, so
well,
you
maybe
have
this is it. So they
dump it into the sea.
Build the houses and allowed them to be built. They should have made sure that they had facilities for to treat the sewage without inflicting it on the to the public.
I mean, you got scenic places, County Wicklow.
Well, you couldn't ask for a nicer place. It's called
raw
Garden
sewage.
Wicklow, but what's the use by garden if there's a stink? Because funny enough, you mentioned the Liffey there earlier. It used to be called Dirty Dublin because of the Liffey, because you got a smell out of it.
That's right. And who was the musician that had the song "The Liffey has a stank like hell"? Was it Paul Brady?
I think it was, yeah. A song that would become very popular. It spoke about the 46.
Summer in Dublin.
Yeah, talking about the 46A bus going down to Dunleary, something about a drunk man on it as well. So he gave a synopsis of what he encountered, and sometimes you can. Because one time I had a job for a small period of time as a bus conductor, and I remember...
You were a bus conductor?
Yeah.
Okay. You've had many occupations, John Malone, to survive.
Yeah, because this is survival. This is what you call survival at the fittest. And you had to do whatever was going, and if you found yourself resting, as the fella says. Now, I remember catching a fella coming down, and all this fella saw him going up the stairs, and I knew he was tipsy, and he was coming down, but he was falling. He got a caught him.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I caught him. That was one little episode that I did, because I was standing on the platform and I saw him going up, but I was kind of keeping an eye on him. And when he was coming down, he didn't fall, and I caught him.
So anyway, the point we're trying to make really with this video is that our priorities are actually wrong. We should be looking at things we can change, things that we know exist.
Exactly. Stop gawking at the sky. The stars up there, they're still visible. If you're in China, there'll be a smog covering them. By the way, the climate change was made possible because China agreed once they weren't being pilloried by the Go along with Anthem, even though their city people are wearing masks because of the pollution in that country. There's not too many people going around here wearing masks, because we don't have pollution, but we have in the air, like, but we have pollution of our environment, the seas and the rivers and the lakes, and that those councils that want to be prosecuted, and prosecuted for not supplying bins for people to put the rubbish in when they're at the seaside or the scenic places. And stop having big groups of lorries going around blocking streets morning, noon and night. Do it the way the continent do, for goodness sake, the EU does. Grow up and do things sensibly and properly. Not between the content people.
Thank you very much, John.
Thank you very much, Oliver.